Hey guys, I'm here today to do a quick review on a 2018 Nissan Pathfinder. Me and my wife just picked it up, and most reviews that you see online are going to be of the top trim. This, however, is the base model, and I thought a lot of people might be interested in what that has to offer. So with that said, come on guys, let's take a look. Alright, so we did start to get a little bit of rain here, but I'm still going to do this review anyway. And just a quick thought, a few thoughts of mine on the outside. First things first, this Pathfinder looks really nice. So as you can see here, being in the back seat, there's plenty of room. I feel it's very comfortable. Obviously I got some stuff there, but you can see, I mean, there's plenty of room for what we need to do in here. And lift up this row, that just pushes forward. You see, you got this big place here to step in. Walking into that back was very easy, and then you pull this forward. Now I'm a full-grown man, I'm sitting in the back seat. Now, while it does feel obviously like I'm in the back of a car somewhere, I have plenty of room above my head, to the side. I can definitely have another full-size adult just like me to the right of me with no problem. And obviously they could even pull this seat back another 3-4 inches, which I don't even think they would need to for the middle row, but if they wanted to, they could, and I would still have all the leg and feet room that I need. So, you know, there you have it. And you have vents back here, you have some cup holders, so some slight amenities. No outlet. However, right behind the back seat, there's a 12 volt that you could plug in and, you know, have some USBs off of that or something. You can see we have 2 more USBs, and we have air controls back here and some vents. Cup holder up here, 2 more large and small cup holders. Soft touch on the door handle. All right, now giving you a quick look at the back, obviously there isn't much room. Just to give you reference, this is a standard, you know, snow scraper, ice scraper, and so there's definitely less room back here than the Rogue would be with all 3 seats up. But once you put these down within half a second, you know, that's easily how much room you probably had in the Rogue. So then on top of that, you have that whole other row. I mean, it's just massive back here, and this is really flat, so this is going to help you out a lot with getting things packed up. You could have something flat back here, push those seats all the way up, have something big in the middle. There's a lot to do. And again, you got the 12 volt back here, some grocery hooks, you know, your speakers, the vents back here. So, you know, not bad. And they actually got tie downs here too, which are great. I'm sure those will come in handy this summer. We will definitely put those to use. And yeah, you know, it all just works well. Obviously we got the backup camera, and that's pretty much it. So with that said, let's take it on into the front seat and see what this car really has to offer. All right, so we have keyless start. So we just put our foot on the pedal, brake pedal, press the button, starts right up. And this car really has a lot in common with the Infinitis of recent. Everything in here, the steering wheel, the layout. I just rented an Infiniti, what was it? Q50 in Las Vegas. This whole setup right here looks exactly the same. and all of this pretty much does. And you know what I have to say about that? Thank you. I'm glad. How am I gonna complain? Now, I mean, if I got an Infinity and it looked pretty much just like this, I might be a little upset. But for you know, base model of this Pathfinder, and just have it, you know, kind of hard plastic up here, but it looks like soft touch and it looks very nice. And you know, you got some soft materials around here, leather padded armrest, so it's very comfortable is my point. I like it very much. As for storage, obviously open this up, you have a really large, open this up, you have a really large deep glove box. And of course, you know, you got your upper here, small little thing, you can hold a few things. And then this is semi deep. You got your audio, video, and you know, USB on here, so that's pretty good too. And down here you have a 12 volt that you can see we have one of those little gas station USB connectors, so we got 3 there, and then it comes with 2 as well. All right, so pretty much you have the AC controls down here, your radio controls above that with a 6-disc CD player, and then all your information right here. And it's pretty simple. This car doesn't have a ton of features. There's no Apple CarPlay, Android Auto in this one. I'll give you a sense of what the backup camera looks like. It's not too bad. It's not super HD quality, but it's probably, you know, 720 quality. Certainly good enough. And the other thing is, this is a nice big about 8-inch screen. So, you know, some of the other cars will have like a small little 5-inch display or something. So even though this doesn't look like, you know, 1080p, it definitely does look high definition, or almost high definition, and I'd say it'll definitely suffice. Now coming over here, you have your traction control and that tow mode that I was telling you about. And of course, if you look down here, you have your selector switch. So you have the 2-wheel, you have your auto, and obviously your lock to lock it into all-wheel drive. And then you got the hill descent button as well. And I think those kind of features on a car like this are great. Now, a lot of people are just going to be loading up their kids, going to school, and it's a big car, and you know, that works. But a lot of other people just like us, we don't have a ton of kids to load up in here, but we do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of vacationing and moving around in the vehicle, and again, we're going to be towing a lot of stuff. So just having those features and know we'll be a little more secure on the road definitely makes us feel good. And if you're wondering, the visibility in this car is great. Now, we just added this camera mirror to the top. The actual mirror is maybe like half the size of what you see here. But this view that you have is just very commanding. I like it. Now, looking back here at your B pillar, it is pretty big, but the windows pulls back pretty far. So even without the lane watch to tell who's behind you and on the side and stuff, you have a pretty good view just from this large window here. But you have to be aware that this is a pretty big B pillar, and it'll probably get in your way once in a while. But all the windows, you know, provide a very good view. In that back third row or second row, obviously you can move the headrest as well if you want even more of a view. But yeah, I really can't complain for a large vehicle. It almost feels like we're driving a Rogue. You kind of notice it a little bit when parking or so forth. You don't just jump right in. You might be slightly more cautious, but the car is very nimble, and I like that. So with that said, let's take it on a quick ride, and I'll give you some thoughts. All right, so let's take her out, see what I think. So along with the Infinity idea I was talking about, you certainly kind of notice it in the exhaust note transmission a little bit. You kind of hear that old Infinity, you know, lineage in there. Not that it's gonna mean much to people kind of buying this car, but I mean, it sounds good, so I definitely like that. Now this car rides smooth, very smooth. Certainly much more power than the old Rogue has, and you feel it, but it's easy on your feet. Obviously it's all electronically driven and so forth, like electronic control from the pedal, but there's good feedback, and I like that. Now if you just floor it on the highway, it'll have some go for real, but the pedal's kind of dead. But again, we're not buying a sports car, you're buying a sport utility vehicle. So I definitely see this as being the type of car that we can definitely go on very long drives on, and that's very key. These seats, they're not leather, but they're very comfortable for some cloth seats, and I like the kind of stitching that they have on it, with that kind of checkered textured feel in the middle, and it kind of keeps you planted a little bit too from the texture. But yeah, I mean, the seats are very comfortable. I like that. Pretty quiet. Outside noise is pretty good for a car like this. And I like that it will really hold the gear if you want it to. You know, that's important. When you want to be able to pass or something like that, it just makes you feel like, again, I mean, if you're going 85 miles an hour on the highway and trying to floor it, the pedal might feel dead. But when you're on the street somewhere and you're just trying to pass, or you need a little extra power to get up a hill or something, I mean, there's no doubt that this car, you know, is more than capable of doing all of that for you. But at the same time, it just rides very well. I feel very in control. Definitely feel the wideness of this car over like my old Rogue that we had, but it's not too bad. Definitely not like you're driving a 150, but you can tell you're in a larger vehicle for sure. But this is going to be the kind of car that a lot of people are going to want to have. Now I will do some follow-up videos, you know, maybe like a 3-month video in of ownership, and maybe a midsummer video as well, just to, at that point I can, you know, talk about how it feels to have towed the camper, the jet ski. We will have done some trips and so forth, but as a previous Nissan owner and, you know, just jumping into this, I think we did a really good job, and I'm very satisfied. And we made out with a crazy deal from that dealership that we bought it from, so, you know, I'm certainly not complaining. So I won't be doing a ton. Oh, just saw my friend back there. He probably didn't recognize me because I'm in a new car. So I won't be doing a ton of car review videos, but as I come across some that interest me and I have the opportunity, I will. And I just wanted to do this quick video on this car because we just got it, and it just crossed my mind, like, you know, I was looking at Pathfinders, you know, on YouTube and so forth, and I've test driven the Honda Pilot, I test drove the Highlander, you know, so I test drove all these cars. Now, one thing I will say, I feel like all these cars are really good vehicles, so it is going to be a little hard to choose, but so you just have to pick out, you know, certain details that are really seriously important to you. So, you know what I mean? Like, is it going to be the best safety driving features? You know what I mean? Like the driver assistance tech. Do you want the best of that? Do you want the absolute most cargo space? Do you want the most luxury features? And in our case, again, we wanted something that can haul a lot, tow a lot, you can fit a lot in here, and that would be good economically on gas, and that we can get for a really good payment. And so I wasn't stuck on the actual, because we were going to lease the car anyway, so I'm not worried about the car breaking down in 2 to 3, like everything's covered with a lease. So I didn't really care what brand I went with. Now, you know, my personal car is a Honda Accord Coupe. I love Honda, but we own that car. It's older. I've had it for a while. So I have all the faith in the world in that car. Some other brands, not so much, you know, 12, 15 years down the road. But again, these brand new cars, having a lease, I mean, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. So yeah, a lot of it came down to just price, the size. A lot of the other cars had about the same cargo capacity. Fuel range for a few of them were about the same. You know, mid 25s, 26, 27, you know, around there. But the one thing this had was that extra 1,000 pounds of towing capability. And again, 6,000 pounds this thing can tow. And the only other thing that can really beat that out is like a diesel, what would it be, like Tahoe? I think they make the diesel version. And something like that, or the Durango, you know what I mean? But those cars can be pretty expensive, and the gas mileage really isn't that great. And honestly, I was looking at a few of them, and as big as the vehicle is, the inside space, the interior space really wasn't all that significantly more, or it was actually smaller than like a car like this. Now this car is supposed to do, if I'm not mistaken, 17 city, 26 highway. I should have took the sticker with me, just so you could see that. Maybe I'll grab a caption of it before I post this video, and I'll include that in the video. But I mean, yeah, those are pretty good numbers for a big vehicle like this. And most of the driving we do is going to be on the highway anyway. So, you know, being able to do 26, 27 miles per gallon on the highway, you know, that's good. But yeah, this car feels really good. Sounds really nice. All the power's there. And again, just having that all-wheel drive, and that's something that's very important to my wife too, you know what I mean? Now, she used to have a lot longer commute. Her commute's about half as long as it was before, so you know, that's good for her. But we live in New England. There's tons of, you know, snow, sleet, rain. The weather's crazy. I mean, one day this week it was 70 degrees, no lie, and then the next day there was rain and snow, and it was 32 degrees out before nighttime. So yeah, I mean, you never know what it's going to be like here. And to just have a car that she knows can always just handle wherever she's at, whatever she's into, you know, is important. Even for me, especially when we're towing stuff. You know, you're in different states. The weather's always changing. It's just good to have a car that you know is just going to be able to stick to the road and give you that little bit extra grip when you need it. So yeah, that said, my initial impression of the 2018 Nissan Pathfinder, the S model, is I'm gonna say 4 out of 5 stars. And you know what I mean? I don't really have a lot of negatives to say about it. I do wish that maybe it had some Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I do wish you were still allowed to purchase the additional driver assistance tech. I think all these car companies, some of them are like packaging it with higher models and so forth, but you're talking about stuff that can save people's lives. So I think some of them should be, you know, paying attention to that. I know like Toyota, like their Highlander, like everyone comes with their sensing technology regardless. So I wish that was the case. That said, you know, I'm very satisfied with the layout, with the storage capability, with the USB ports, just everything. It's a very good car, and I can't wait to put it to a lot of good use this summer. So I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me on my first review on SK Lifestyle of a car. And so guys, check out all the other videos that I have going on. This year is going to be great. We're gonna have tons of content. We're gonna be deep into snowboarding by the end of the year, getting back into it. Got to get back to my love. And yeah, that said, just stay tuned for, again, any other vehicles that I come across, maybe some of my friends' cars that they come upon, or stuff like that. But that said, I appreciate you guys checking out the 2018 Nissan Pathfinder with me. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them. I always reach out to anybody. And please subscribe, SK Lifestyle. Thanks, guys.